All right, so what do we see here? On the very top, we see A5, which is our chord symbol. So this is what our chord is called. You see a bunch of horizontal lines and vertical lines. The top horizontal line is just a thick beam. That represents the nut on the guitar. The horizontal lines below that are the frets of the guitar. The first horizontal line below that thick beam is your first fret, and if you go further down, you get second fret, third fret, fourth, etc. When we look at the vertical lines, and we look at the vertical line that's on the left, that is our low E string. That represents our low E string, or our thickest string. Then when we go to the right, we go to A, D, G, B, and high E string. All right, so now let's look at a chord. What we see here is the representation of an A5 chord. What you see is the diagram, and in the diagram, now we see two dots. The dots is where we need to place our fingers. Dot number 1 is placed on the third string from the left. Now, on the entirely on the left, we have low E, then A, so this one is on the D string. And it's placed just before the second fret. So, we need to place a finger in second position on the D string. Now the other dot. That dot is placed on the third string from the right. Now, entirely on the right, we have high E, then B, and then G string. So that dot is on the G string and placed just before the second fret. So our second finger needs to be placed in second position of the G string. Now there is a couple of other indicators here. On the very top of our chord diagram, we see 3 X's and an O. The X means that string that's below it, we do not play that string, or it should be muted. So we do not want to hear that string. So in that case, when we look at it like that, the low E, the B, and high E string should be muted. The O that is placed above the A string simply means that you play it as an open string. So there are no fingers on it, but you do play that string. So the strings we should be playing with this chord are the A string, the D string, and the G string. Below the chord diagram, we see 2 numbers, the 1 and a 2. These numbers represent the fingers of our left hand. So these are the fingers that we actually use to play those dots. So that dot that was placed on the D string in second position should be played with your index finger, because the first finger is your index finger. The other dot that is placed on the G string in second position should be played with your middle finger, because the middle finger is number 2. So to summarize that a little bit, when it comes to using which fingers, is that first finger is index finger, second finger is middle finger, third finger is ring finger, and fourth finger is your pinky. All right, now let's look at a real life example. So when we look at the chord diagram, we see 2 dots in there, and the left dot was placed just before the second fret on the D string. So, and underneath that string, you saw the number 1, which is the index finger. So you place the index finger in second position of the D string. The right dot was placed also in second position, but now on the G string. And you did that with your second finger, which is your middle finger. So we place our middle finger in second position of the G string. There was an X placed above the low E, B, and high E string. So you don't play those strings. There was an O placed above the A string. That means that you play that string as is. So that's just an open string. And of course we play the D and G string because they have fingers on them. And if we would not be playing them, then why put the fingers on them, right? So we play A, D, and G string. So the chord sounds like this.